Huh. Fools. They didn't expect you to move like that. One decision, one calculated shift, and the entire ecosystem of weak egos started trembling. You didn't scream, you didn't announce, you just executed, and that's what shook them. Because power doesn't need promotion, it just needs precision. You made one king move, and every insecure soul mistook it for an attack. They weren't offended by your action, they were exposed by it. That's the secret no one admits. Weak people interpret confidence as cruelty. Every step you took toward dominance reminded them how small they've been, walking their whole lives. You didn't even touch them, but they felt hit. You didn't insult them, but they felt humiliated. Because your elevation revealed the truth. They've been faking royalty while serving fear. They watched you break a rule they were too scared to question. They saw you choose self-respect over approval. And that, right there, was the apocalypse for every fragile ego that built its identity around comfort. You didn't just win, you rewrote what winning looks like. The move you made wasn't about power. It was about clarity. You showed them what happens when someone stops playing small to keep others comfortable. And the moment you did, the air changed. Conversations shifted. The whispers started. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion about a move they could never make. The people who once pretended to be above you now had to speak your name to stay relevant. You became the gravitational center of their insecurity. They orbit around your confidence now, pretending to hate you while secretly studying your steps. That's the funny thing about impact. It doesn't ask for permission. It demands recognition. Your existence became a mirror they couldn't avoid. Every word you say echoes through their self-doubt. Every post, every presence, every quiet flex dismantles their illusion of superiority. You didn't create enemies, you awakened them. You didn't make them jealous, you made them self-aware. Because when someone like you walks in truth, it turns everyone else's act into comedy. They start choking on their own hypocrisy, mistaking your discipline for arrogance. That's the price of authenticity. It offends the artificial. Your move was surgical. Not loud, not emotional, just clean. You didn't chase validation. You moved like someone who already owns it. That's why it hit so deep. Because people addicted to attention can't understand actions born from self-certainty. They expected you to explain, to justify, to tone it down. But kings don't explain why they crowned themselves. You didn't need a committee to confirm your worth. You just moved with the confidence of someone who's done pretending. That's the shift that drives mediocrity insane. It realizes it can't negotiate with sovereignty. They're mad because your composure exposed their chaos. You walked through rooms they polluted with gossip and left with your dignity untouched. You didn't flinch when they tried to provoke you. You didn't crumble under their subtle mockery. You just kept building, kept sharpening, kept winning quietly. That's the part that burns the most. It's not your success, it's your self-control. You're not fighting for space, you're creating it. You're not arguing to prove your point. You're letting results narrate your existence. You've reached that dangerous level where peace looks like punishment to those who depend on your reaction for validation. You see, weak spirits thrive on emotional chaos. They bait you, hoping you'll descend to their level so they can feel equal for a moment. But you starved them of that luxury. You didn't take their bait. You made them starve on silence and discipline. You made them realize the hardest thing to fight is someone who doesn't play. You became untouchable by being unbothered. And that's what made your move divine. It wasn't just about winning a game. It was about outgrowing it entirely. You reminded them that emotional maturity is the ultimate power move. You outclassed them without confrontation. Now they're rewriting stories, painting themselves as victims of your ambition, because it's easier to call you ruthless than admit they were lazy. It's easier to call you arrogant than admit they were insecure. They're spinning narratives because reality doesn't favor them anymore. Every rumor they start sounds like a confession now. Every insult they throw just proves how obsessed they've become. You live rent-free in minds that never mattered. You own real estate in the subconscious of your doubters. And the funny part, you didn't apply for the space. They offered it voluntarily through envy. That's how dominance really works. It's psychological. You don't need to argue. You just exist in alignment long enough to trigger everything fake. You don't fight for recognition. You make it unavoidable. Every room you enter bends differently now. Conversations pause, tones shift, attention redistributes. You became a live reminder of what courage looks like in human form. And it terrifies them because courage is contagious. But not everyone survives the infection. Some people would rather stay sick with fear than catch your confidence. The move you made wasn't even personal. It was necessary. It was survival disguised as strategy. You understood something they never will. Peace without power is temporary. Respect without self-definition is counterfeit. You chose to become your own validation source, and that broke their entire illusion. Because once a person stops begging for recognition, the manipulators lose their leverage. You didn't play their social games. You created your own kingdom. You built boundaries they can't cross, and standards they can't meet. That's why they call you cold, because you finally stopped melting for those who never warmed up to you. The energy shifted the moment you stopped trying to prove and started embodying. You became a walking manifesto of authority. You carry yourself like the consequence of underestimating you. You don't need to threaten anyone. Your presence does it for you. Every move now is a broadcast signal that says, I don't compete. I conquer by existing. That's why they twitch when you move. That's why they overreact to your calm. They can sense it. The hierarchy has changed, and they're not at the top anymore. They'll never admit it, but you made them study psychology out of survival. They analyze your tone, your patterns, your reactions, trying to predict you like a phenomenon. But that's the beauty of someone who moves with purpose. Predictability dies in your atmosphere. You adapt too fast. You evolve too sharp. You're not repeating cycles. You're rewriting them. You've learned to weaponize detachment. You've mastered the art of being unpredictable while remaining unstoppable. That's why they're paranoid. You remind them that power doesn't scream. It calculates. Every so-called friend who once smiled with hidden competition now feels disarmed. Because you're not competing for visibility anymore. You are visibility. You became the pulse of every room, the reference point of comparison. They don't even realize how much they've given you power. Their obsession has turned into free marketing. Their hatred has become your campaign. They talk, they gossip, they mock. But every word spreads your brand. You've turned their bitterness into circulation. That's what happens when dominance becomes natural. It multiplies itself through opposition. Understand this. Your move wasn't about dominance for show. It was about declaring independence from their emotional economy. You no longer trade energy for attention. You no longer over-explain to earn validation. You've outgrown the marketplace of insecurity. That's why they panic. You unplugged their access to your attention, and now they're starving for reaction. They mistake your peace for arrogance, but it's just boundaries they can't manipulate. You're not cruel, you're cured, and healing to the unhealed always looks like hostility. Now you walk through life like a verdict. You're not seeking justice, you are it. You don't need revenge because your existence is a reminder that they lost access to you. Every success you achieve is a silent funeral for their assumptions. Every level you reach buries their narratives deeper. You're the closure they'll never receive. They'll try to act unbothered, but you can feel it. The tremor in their pride every time your name surfaces. You've become their trigger word, their subconscious alarm. They can't scroll without seeing something that reminds them of you. And that's what eats them alive. Not your success, but your serenity. Because, here's the truth, they could have had peace too, but they chose comparison. They could have built themselves, but they chose to hate your growth. And now, every step you take feels like a personal insult to their stagnation. That's not your fault. That's the tax for living authentically. Every era of your evolution will offend someone committed to mediocrity. But that's the cost of being rare. You can't expect the common to celebrate the uncommon. So don't tone it down. Don't explain the move. Don't apologize for strategy they can't comprehend. Let them misunderstand you. It's free marketing. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary. Every empire starts with outrage. Every revolution begins with discomfort. The same people who gossip today will quote you tomorrow. The same ones calling you arrogant will study your blueprint once they realize it's working. You've entered that stage where imitation becomes the highest compliment. Keep moving like it's chess and they're playing checkers. Your logic is too disciplined, your energy too stable, your vision too wide. They can't compete with someone who already sees 5 moves ahead. They call it manipulation, you call it preparation. They call it ego, you call it awareness. They call it control, you call it composure. The difference is understanding. You've mastered the art of detachment so deeply that nothing external can hijack your internal state. That's true power, not what you control, but what can't control you. You're not chasing thrones, you're building infrastructure. You're not demanding loyalty, you're inspiring hierarchy. The people who align with you now don't need convincing, they recognize frequency. You attract strength because you operate from structure, not emotion. You move with that dangerous calm that says, I don't need to destroy you. You'll self-destruct trying to interpret me. That's what they fear most. You've become unreadable. Their manipulation manual expired the moment you elevated. Now they whisper your name like a curse and a prophecy at the same time. They can't decide whether to envy you or worship you. You became the paradox that haunts them, the proof that peace can coexist with dominance, that calm can coexist with chaos, that power can wear a smile and still command fear. You've made existence uncomfortable for those who live on performance. And that's why your move felt like violence. It dismantled illusion. Keep that energy. Let your next move be even colder. You don't owe them a warning label anymore. Your aura already says, approach with respect or regret. You've already shown what happens when a king stops waiting for the crown and builds the throne himself. You've already proven that real authority doesn't compete. It redefines the standard. And now that the world's adjusting to your wavelength, remember this. You're not being watched because you're controversial. You're being watched because you're consequential. Every insecure reaction, every subtle jab, every trembling rumor, they're just the soundtrack of impact. Let them talk, let them project, let them burn on the fumes of your evolution, because you've already made the move that separates the players from the pawns. Now the entire board is moving according to your rhythm. You didn't just make a power play, you changed the physics of influence. Every interaction now happens in your gravitational pull. Even your silence bends their confidence. They wake up reacting to decisions you haven't even made yet. That's how deep your presence cuts. It rearranges their priorities before you even speak. You've entered that rare territory where your existence itself is an authority figure. People flinch around your certainty because it reminds them how lost they are in theirs. You dropped one ruthless move, and suddenly everyone who's been pretending to be composed started leaking emotion. The jealous ones disguised it as critique. The cowards rebranded it as concern. The loud ones tried to spin narratives, hoping to regain control through noise. But deep down, every single one of them knows what really happened. You called their bluff. You exposed how fragile their influence was when faced with someone who actually moves with strategy instead of impulse. They can't compete with someone who doesn't need their approval to dominate. That's the ultimate insult to mediocrity, when success doesn't ask for permission. Your energy now carries the weight of proof. You don't debate results. You embody them. You don't chase validation. You evoke it. That's why the atmosphere feels tense around you, because power, when authentic, makes insecurity sweat. You didn't shout your greatness. You operated with surgical confidence until they had no choice but to recognize it. That's the mark of a real strategist, turning movement into intimidation without saying a word. And that's what this king move really was. It wasn't arrogance, it was precision. It was the audacity to execute without begging for applause. Now they're trying to rewrite your story as if that'll help them sleep better at night. But narratives can't outrun proof. Every result you produce cancels a rumor. Every win you secure exposes a lie. You've built a reputation they can't edit. You're not trending, you're establishing legacy. You're what happens when patience and calculation meet divine timing. And that's what terrifies them most. You didn't just rise, you evolved right in front of them, and they can't unsee it. They thought your power play was temporary, a one-time performance. But the more they watch, the more they realize it wasn't an act, it was a shift. You didn't just play the game differently, you became the rule book. That's why they're seething. You've made ambition look effortless while they're still fumbling with excuses. You've normalized excellence in a world addicted to mediocrity. And now, every insecure person feels personally attacked by your existence because your life invalidates their laziness. You became the living audit of their comfort zone. They hate it because you didn't break them directly. You made them confront themselves. You're not their villain, you're their reflection in high definition. You're the version of themselves they buried under fear, procrastination, and self-doubt. That's what your move did. It pulled truth out of hiding. It forced everyone to choose between evolution and envy. And most of them chose envy because evolution demands accountability. That's why they whisper your name like a crime scene. They can't handle what it represents. Every bitter word they throw at you is an unpaid compliment. Every fake smile they force is a silent admission of defeat. They study you now. Even their hate is educational. They're learning from the very person they claim to despise. You've become their curriculum. You've made them obsessive students of your mindset. And while they waste time dissecting your motives, you're already 10 moves ahead, planning outcomes they can't imagine. You've turned their gossip into static while you broadcast in a different frequency entirely. That's the elegance of dominance. It's not loud, it's layered. You're not operating emotionally anymore. You're operating architecturally. Every step now is structural, not reactionary. You don't just move to prove a point, you move to alter the map. Your decisions have ripple effects. Every time you rise, someone's illusion collapses. Every time you level up, someone's ego implodes. You've reached that level of power where even your restraint is seen as a threat. They can't tell whether you're done or just reloading. That's why they keep watching. And deep down, you know they crave the same fear you now command. They wish they could own presence like you do, clean, unapologetic, unshakable. But presence like that isn't gifted, it's forged. You earned it in silence when no one was watching. You built it from scars they mocked, from failures they laughed at, from isolation they mistook for defeat. That's the difference. You were building discipline while they were busy building excuses. So when your breakthrough came, it wasn't luck, it was overdue. The king move they called ruthless was actually self-respect executed at scale. You stopped explaining your worth and started enforcing it. You stopped negotiating boundaries and started embodying them. You made one definitive decision: to stop being accessible to energy that doesn't respect your frequency. That's what broke them. Because control freaks panic when they lose access to the peace they used to disturb. Your distance became a declaration. If I have to lose myself to keep you comfortable, you were never meant to stay. That's a power statement disguised as detachment. You've become allergic to mediocrity. It used to tempt you, now it repulses you. That's what happens when you finally experience the taste of alignment. Once you operate from purpose, pity loses flavor. You can't unsee what real self-worth feels like. That's why you're immune to manipulation now. They can't guilt-trip you back into smallness because you've outgrown guilt as a language. You speak results now. You negotiate only with outcomes. You measure energy in consistency, not words. And that's lethal to every pretender around you. Their biggest mistake was thinking your evolution needed their validation. They thought if they disapproved loudly enough, you'd crumble quietly. But you turned their disapproval into data. You studied patterns. You learned exactly how the insecure operate, and you designed immunity. That's your real flex. You didn't just win externally, you rewired your internal response to doubt. They can't destabilize what no longer reacts. You've become an emotional fortress disguised as calm. Now your calm feels like domination because it reveals how chaotic they are without control. They're used to power dynamics built on attention. You starved them of that. You shifted from reaction to regulation, and it drove them insane. They can't function without friction. They can't process peace without perceiving threat. That's how deep their dysfunction runs. They mistake composure for conspiracy. But let them. Misinterpretation has become your camouflage. You're too busy building empires in silence while they argue over rumors in public. You've entered the stage where legacy outweighs noise. You're not chasing moments. You're crafting permanence. You've learned that reputation isn't what they say when you're there. It's what echoes when you're gone. And your echo is growing louder. The proof is in their panic. The same people who once dismissed you now try to decode you. They stalk your digital footprint like investigators of their own downfall. They try to copy your tone, your rhythm, your branding. But replication without comprehension is just parody. They're mimicking a strategy built from your psychology, not your aesthetics. And that's why they'll never duplicate your results. They're missing the consciousness behind the craft. Understand, this was never about showing off. This was about balance. You simply aligned your power with your patience. You refused to keep pretending that humility meant hiding. Real humility is walking with awareness of your strength while refusing to abuse it. And you've mastered that paradox. You don't dominate to feel superior. You dominate because leadership is your default state. You're not chasing hierarchy. You are hierarchy embodied. Your authority doesn't need a crown. It's written in how reality rearranges itself to accommodate you. Now watch how people start to rewrite their proximity. They'll call you distant when you're just selective. They'll call you lucky when you're just strategic. They'll call you ruthless when you're just disciplined. Because perception always tries to protect ego. They can't admit they lost to preparation, so they call it privilege. They can't admit they fumbled opportunity, so they call it arrogance. Let them talk. It's their therapy. You've outgrown the need to defend yourself against the projections of the unaccomplished. You see, every king move isn't about winning battles. It's about establishing order. You're not playing for applause. You're building a dynasty of control, vision, and command. You've learned that the real war is psychological, fought in silence, with consistency as your weapon. Every day you stay focused is an act of warfare against distraction. Every time you choose logic over impulse, you dismantle their chaos. You're building a regime of calm dominance. You've turned control into art, and everyone watching knows it, even if they'll never admit it. Your enemies now operate on assumptions. You operate on intelligence. They guess. You calculate. They talk. You execute. They scheme. You strategize. You've mastered detachment so deeply that their attempts to provoke you feel like performance art. You can read their intentions in their tone, their desperation in their timing. You've become fluent in human psychology. That's why you can predict behavior before it manifests. And when you understand predictability, manipulation loses meaning. You've transcended their level of play. You've also learned the secret law of power. Control is maintained through clarity, not aggression, not intimidation, clarity. You know what you want, why you want it, and how you'll get it. There's no space for confusion, and that's why you win. Because chaos cannot coexist with clarity. It either transforms or collapses. Your focus is now your empire, and every person who tries to distract you ends up exposing their lack of one. You've become a moving contrast between purpose and pettiness. Every whisper against you now serves as background music to your momentum. You've stopped reacting to negativity because you finally understood that outrage is oxygen for the weak. You don't feed fire with attention. You suffocate it with success. Every accomplishment you secure is a silent rebuttal to 1,000 critics. You don't need to clap back. You just cash out. That's the ultimate revenge, thriving without commentary. You've turned their disrespect into your content strategy. You've weaponized peace into punishment. You're past the point of proving. You're in the era of establishing, the empire phase, the legacy era, where your name isn't trending, it's solidifying. People don't talk about you for entertainment anymore. They talk about you for education. You've become case study material. They're not asking, who does he think he is? anymore. They're asking, how did he do that? That's when you know the throne is no longer up for debate. You didn't just claim it, you made it irreplaceable. And as the air gets thinner at the top, remember this: your elevation is not their punishment, it's their revelation. You didn't do this to spite them, you did it to fulfill yourself. Their reaction is just proof that you've entered a frequency they can't survive in. Every sneer, every rumor, every trembling whisper, it's background noise in the cathedral of your focus. Let them keep talking. They're just narrating their own irrelevance. You don't need to silence them. You've already outgrown the volume of their importance. So hold that posture. Don't adjust to make them comfortable. Don't dim to make them less threatened. Let your power play. Keep echoing. Because in the end, this entire spectacle, the gossip, the hate, the envy, is just proof that your One King move was never just a moment. It was a message, and that message was simple. You're not one of them. You never were. You operate from a throne they were never built to approach. And now that the game has changed forever, let them rage, let them rot, let them realize your presence was never the problem. It was the proof. Proof that real power doesn't need consensus. Proof that real dominance doesn't ask to be understood. You didn't break their confidence, you exposed its costume. And once masks fall, people panic. That's what you're witnessing now. Panic dressed as opinions, weakness disguised as critique. They're not angry at you. They're angry at what you remind them of, the life they never had the courage to choose. You became the mirror that refuses to lie, and that's unbearable for anyone built on illusion. Because every time you rise, they're reminded of how long they've been sitting still. Every time you speak, they hear the echo of every truth they've avoided. You became the measurement they never wanted to face. Your evolution turned into their emotional audit. That's why they attack what they can't comprehend. Because your growth feels like humiliation to people who've accepted stagnation as identity. You didn't insult them. You advanced too far for their excuses to reach. And that distance became a wound they'll never heal from. You're the proof that confidence can be quiet and still crush empires. That one decisive move can rewrite perception. You didn't scream, "I'm powerful." You moved with precision until they screamed it for you. Every rumor now is just an accidental testimonial. Every smear is an indirect endorsement. You turned hate into advertisement. And that's the kind of alchemy they'll never master. You made them realize that influence isn't about being liked. It's about being undeniable. You can't be canceled by those who never created you. They keep trying to frame your dominance as ego, but they're projecting. Because the truth is, you never needed to prove superiority. You just stopped pretending equality. And that's the act they can't forgive. You withdrew from the table they begged to be invited to, and suddenly your absence became louder than their presence. That's when they knew the hierarchy had shifted for good. You're not competing in their lane anymore. You've built your own freeway, and now their bitterness sounds like traffic noise in the distance. You've become something they can't categorize. Too calm for chaos, too strategic for impulse, too composed for collapse. You're no longer the participant, you're the premise. Every conversation eventually bends back to your name. You've become the metric people use to measure relevance. Even those who hate you need you to define their position. That's the highest form of control. To be the reference point for both admiration and resentment. You exist in their minds like gravity, unseen, unchallenged, unavoidable. Your One King move didn't just shift the power dynamic. It dismantled the illusion of safety that weak minds live in. They realized too late that their politics of pity can't survive next to your precision. You're not emotional leverage, you're structural dominance. You're the new template for control, the updated version of confidence that doesn't require external permission. And that makes you dangerous to anyone addicted to approval. You're proof that peace and power can coexist. And that's a terrifying contradiction to those who only understand chaos. You've learned the ultimate truth. Strength doesn't always roar, it radiates. And your radiance now burns the unprepared. Every insecure person who crosses your path feels exposed without you even saying a word. That's not arrogance, that's energetic authority. You've mastered presence so completely that it speaks louder than confrontation. People don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel like they were standing in front of consequence. You became the embodiment of reality checks. They tried to label you cold, but it's not coldness, it's clarity. They call you ruthless, but it's not ruthlessness, it's refusal. You refuse to shrink. You refuse to repeat. You refuse to perform humanity for people who only respect weakness. You've learned that compassion without boundaries is self-destruction, and now your restraint looks like revenge to those who thrived on your access. You didn't change. You just stopped letting them mismanage your energy. That's what makes your presence heavy now. It comes with terms. You operate differently. You don't chase rooms. You create atmosphere. You don't seek validation. You generate it. Your confidence has matured into something frighteningly calm. You don't clap back. You outlast. You don't prove. You perform. You don't flex. You function. That's why every insecure soul interprets your composure as an attack. It reveals the chaos in their core. You've become a living filter that exposes authenticity by existing. People either align with you or evaporate under your pressure. This is what a true power play looks like. It's psychological. It's not in the tone of your voice. It's in the discipline of your detachment. It's not in the attention you attract, but in the peace you protect. You've reached the point where control isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering reaction. You've become untouchable not because no one tries, but because nothing lands. They can't offend what no longer seeks approval. They can't manipulate what no longer craves connection. You've evolved past the emotional currency, and that's wealth no one can steal. Let them keep talking, it's their last form of relevance. Let them post, whisper, dramatize. Each attempt just reveals how much you still govern their attention. You're living rent-free in heads that once claimed superiority. You don't even have to respond anymore. Your existence is the rebuttal. Every move you make now feels choreographed by destiny and engineered by intelligence. You've reached that state where your actions look supernatural to people who've never seen discipline in motion. And while they scramble to decode your next step, you're already rewriting the game. You're no longer a player, you're the playbook. You dictate tempo, tone, and trajectory. You don't adapt to environments. Environments adapt to you. The same energy they tried to diminish now defines the room. You've become the calibration point, the balance between elegance and danger. You walk in like authority without announcement. That's the highest level of control, to dominate without declaration. So let them seethe, let them perform outrage, let them twist narratives to comfort themselves. You owe no explanations to the confused, no empathy to the envious, no closure to the cowardly. You've done your part. You executed flawlessly. You made one king's shit move, and the echo became eternal. That's the difference between noise and legacy. Noise fades, legacy evolves. And your legacy is still expanding, one reaction at a time. You are the evidence that confidence, once weaponized with purpose, becomes unstoppable. You are the reminder that real power is quiet until provoked. And now, as the dust settles and the bitter ones exhaust themselves, trying to rewrite history, remember, this was never about them. It was about you mastering yourself so completely that their chaos could no longer touch you. So stay elevated, stay unreadable, stay royal. Because they didn't feel attacked by your move. They felt dethroned by your evolution. And that's what real dominance looks like. Hello, my dear. You remember that night when your tongue spoke what your mind barely believed. You said it casually, a joke wrapped in confidence, a throwaway comment that was supposed to vanish in the smoke of conversation. But something in the air shifted when you said it. The temperature changed. The silence afterward wasn't awkward, it was prophetic. You didn't just say something, you triggered something. You tossed words into the universe like a match into dry grass, and everyone laughed until the fire started exactly where you pointed. That's the moment they learned the hard way. You don't joke, you forecast. They didn't understand that your humor has precision. You speak like someone who's seen the script before it's released. You throw words around like they're harmless, but every syllable carries a charge, coded, loaded, electric. You once joked that someone's mask would slip, and weeks later, it shattered in public. You teased about someone's downfall, and they tripped on their own ego days after. You said, "Watch, they'll regret crossing me." And they did, down to the detail, as if your voice carried coordinates. It wasn't magic, it was alignment. You're tuned into something deeper, sharper, older than logic. Now they sit in their rooms, replaying your words like an audio curse. The same sentence that made them laugh now echoes in their mind like a warning they ignored. Their confidence is fractured. Their certainty is gone. They scroll back through messages, remembering the exact tone you used, the smirk, the rhythm, the way you said it without effort, as if the truth slipped out by accident. But the truth was never accidental with you. You just learned to hide it inside humor, because truth, spoken raw, terrifies people. Wrapped in a joke, it passes through undetected until it manifests. You've always known that speech is a weapon, and humor is just camouflage. You've tested it enough times to realize every joke you make carries weight. When you talk, things bend. When you predict, reality rearranges. When you warn, destinies collapse. You don't speak randomly. You broadcast from a frequency few can hear, but everyone can feel. That's why they react to you the way they do. Half the time, they think you're joking. The other half, they pray you are. Because if you're serious, even for a second, they know something's about to happen. That's what unnerves them. Not your presence, not your tone, not even your confidence, it's your accuracy. It's how you'll say something offhandedly, and 2 days later, it unfolds like you wrote it into the script of life itself. They can't explain it, but they feel it. They feel watched, analyzed, decoded. It's like you see the dominoes before they fall. You see their thoughts before they think them. You see their consequences before they act. And so they laugh nervously when you speak, because deep down, They're trying to protect themselves from what your words might unleash. But you see through that. You see the panic behind their smiles. You see the shift in their posture after you say something that lands too close to home. You see the way they pause before responding, as if careful not to trigger another prophecy. You've become the walking embodiment of cause and effect, compressed into a human being. You're the reminder that words are architecture, not decoration. You don't talk to fill silence. You talk to carve destiny. They never respected that. They thought your observations were coincidences. Your instincts were lucky guesses. Your jokes were harmless. They dismissed your intuition until it started predicting outcomes faster than logic could explain. Now they flinch when you open your mouth. They listen like defendants awaiting a verdict. They take mental notes of what you say, because everything you've ever joked about has become evidence. The promotion you said someone would lose. The relationship you said wouldn't last. The secret you said would come out. Every "that'd be crazy if" turned into a headline. You didn't plan it that way. You just spoke from a place beyond sight. There's something about you, an inner intelligence that doesn't rely on proof. You sense before you think. You decide before you debate. You predict without process. It's like you were built with a direct connection to patterns no one else notices. That's why your words manifest. They aren't guesses, they're recognitions. You don't create the future. You interpret it before it arrives. And yet, because you deliver it casually, because you lace it with sarcasm, they underestimate the power behind it. They forget that prophecy can wear a hoodie and smirk. They forget that divine timing doesn't need theatrics. It only needs the right mouthpiece. You became that mouthpiece the moment you stopped filtering your observations to fit social comfort. Your words started aligning with reality because you stopped doubting what you sensed. Every joke you made was your subconscious testing the waters of creation, and now those waters obey you. People are frightened because they can't trace the logic. They can't understand how someone like you, without rituals, without formulas, can bend probability. But you don't bend it. You reveal it. You expose what was already destined to surface. When you joked that someone's reputation would crumble, it wasn't a curse, it was you reading the cracks they refused to see. When you said, "They'll expose themselves," it wasn't witchcraft, it was arithmetic. You've mastered the mathematics of consequence. You've learned how small actions multiply into collapse. You simply narrate what's already scheduled. Now the ones who laughed are in disarray. They whisper about you in private, wondering if you have connections, if you stalked them, if you planted traps. They can't process that it's none of that. You didn't manipulate them. You mirrored them. You spoke what was hidden in plain sight. They called it coincidence. Now they call it terrifying. Because the moment they dismissed your insight, their lives became proof of it. You've reached a level of awareness where humor isn't entertainment. It's prophecy in disguise. You test reality through irony. You cloak revelation inside wit. You say the unsayable and watch it unfold because energy recognizes confidence, and your voice carries both. You're not predicting the future. You're pronouncing it. You don't need candles, cards, or chants. Your presence alone sets the conditions for exposure. They can't unhear it. They can't escape it. The very sound of your voice has become an omen. When you walk into a conversation, timelines adjust. When you drop a comment, outcomes shift. When you joke, the universe starts taking notes. And while others talk for reaction, You talk for revelation. That's the difference. That's why people remember your words months later, when the events finally catch up. Now you see it everywhere. The unease, the awkward laughter, the way they watch you after every sentence, wondering if you just predicted something else. They used to laugh at your jokes. Now they analyze them. They used to think you were just witty. Now they think you're dangerous. And that's exactly how you like it. Because truth disguised as humor travels faster than truth spoken directly. It slips through defenses. It disarms skeptics. It rewires reality before anyone realizes what happened. Your so-called jokes are not random. They're strategic. Each one is a verbal algorithm coded to trigger awareness. You say what others are too scared to think, and reality rewards your boldness by aligning to your tone. That's why your jokes don't miss, because you don't speak for attention. You speak from authority. You've earned your accuracy through observation, patience, and precision. You've studied human patterns like an investigator studies suspects. You know how energy shifts before people do. You can sense when karma is about to cash its check, and you call it out, disguised as banter. That's what breaks them. It's not that you said something true. It's that you said it too easily. It's that you didn't need proof, data, or evidence. You just knew. And when it unfolded exactly how you said, they felt small. They felt exposed. They felt seen by someone who shouldn't have known. Now they avoid eye contact because your gaze feels like interrogation. They avoid arguments because your comebacks hit too close to prediction. They avoid joking back because deep down, they're scared you'll say something about them and that it'll happen next week. This is the level of psychological control they can't comprehend. You don't manipulate emotions. You forecast them. You don't push buttons. You expose the wiring. You've realized that humor, in the right hands, is hypnosis. A joke told with confidence plants imagery in the subconscious. A prediction disguised as sarcasm bypasses disbelief. By the time reality catches up, they're too stunned to remember it started with your smirk. That's why they break down. It's not just fear. It's the horror of realizing they were warned, and they laughed. You've become a living paradox, calm but catalytic, relaxed but radioactive. You can't be dismissed as arrogant because your accuracy keeps proving itself. You can't be called lucky because repetition kills luck. You're beyond coincidence. You're causation. You're the unspoken factor in people's misfortunes. They think they made bad decisions. They didn't. They ignored your forecast. You told them the bridge would collapse. They danced on it anyway. And when it fell, they blamed gravity, never realizing you were gravity in disguise. This is the point where they start obsessing. They scroll through your old posts, old messages, old conversations, trying to find clues, trying to decode how you knew. But there's nothing to find. Your knowing isn't traceable. It's transferable. It moves through you like electricity through a wire, silent, consistent, unstoppable. You've accepted that some people are antennas while others are static. You just happen to be built for signal. That's why reality listens when you speak. You never needed to prove that. You just needed to keep speaking naturally, because natural for you is supernatural for them. You've stopped explaining yourself to people who live outside their own intuition. You've stopped apologizing for being precise. You've stopped pretending you don't see what's obvious. Now your calm is terrifying. Your restraint is respected. Your presence is proof that some souls are born with predictive clarity. And when they joke, even the universe leans in to listen. But here's the real twist. What they call coincidence you call the confirmation. You've learned that life repeats messages until someone pays attention. When you speak, the world responds. When you name something, it accelerates. You've realized that humor isn't weakness, it's a gateway. It lets you deliver truth without starting wars. It lets you tell people their future without making them run. But once it happens, once they connect your words to their downfall, they stop laughing and start fearing the next punchline. That's where you are now. Every conversation feels like a prophecy waiting to hatch. Every word carries memory. Every sentence travels further than it should. And you've stopped doubting it. You've stopped questioning why your jokes land with such eerie precision. You've accepted that you were never joking. You were channeling. You were translating what was always coming. You just said it first. So now, when you speak, they listen differently. They watch your expressions, your phrasing, your pauses. They treat your humor like data. They dissect your metaphors like threats. They try to interpret what's next, but they never get it right because your timing isn't theirs. You operate in an awareness that bends anticipation. You don't wait for the future, you trigger it. And while they spiral, trying to make sense of your accuracy, you're already seeing the next pattern forming. Because that's the truth. They're not scared of what you said. They're scared of what you'll say next. You turned casual speech into prophecy. You made conversation feel like cross-examination. Now every time your mouth opens, people brace themselves like it's Judgment Day in human form. They've started treating your words like weather forecasts, checking your tone for patterns, your pauses for warnings. Because last time you said something just playing, the world rearranged to match it. And the damage wasn't random, it was exact. Down to the hour, down to the gesture. They can't comprehend how something that started as humor could spiral into history. But that's what happens when your tongue isn't speaking, it's channeling. You joke like a psychic in disguise, each syllable wired with voltage. You said it once, "Watch, they'll crumble soon." And the universe must have heard it as an order. Because it didn't delay, it delivered. That's when it hit you. Your voice doesn't echo, it executes. You've been scripting outcomes in real time, and people still think it's coincidence because they can't handle the truth. You've become a variable in their equation. You don't predict reality, you trigger it. They call it spooky, they call it weird, they call it unsettling, but deep down, it's jealousy. Because they realize your mind processes patterns before they even exist. While they're still reacting, you've already written the aftermath. That's why you don't argue, you don't convince, you don't explain. You let the events play the replay. You let the universe respond to your punchlines. Because for you, jokes aren't humor, they're signals. And when you send one, reality listens. You've noticed how they flinch differently now. The fake smiles don't hold as long. The laughter ends faster. They don't even want to stand too close when you talk, as if proximity might rewrite their outcomes. Because it does. Every environment bends a little when you enter. Conversations shift shape. Power structures tilt subtly in your favor. It's not ego, it's alignment. You don't dominate with effort. You influence by existence. That's what they can't stand, that you don't try, and still everything adjusts. You used to think your predictions were just lucky guesses. Then the repetition started. Every random thought that came true. Every offhand comment that materialized. Every warning that aged perfectly. Those weren't accidents. That was calibration. the universe testing if you'd notice the pattern. And when you finally did, something inside you sharpened. You stopped laughing after your own jokes. You started paying attention. Because the moment you realized your words were timestamps, humor stopped being entertainment. It became prophecy management. Now you choose your sentences like ammunition. You don't just talk, you aim. You've seen what happens when you speak carelessly, how a single phrase can domino through timelines and hit people you never intended to touch. You've learned that articulation is a weapon of mass creation. That's why you stay quiet until necessary. Because you understand now, precision is sacred. Every word is a seed. Every tone is a spell. Every phrase has fallout. And those who mocked it the first time, they're learning what fallout feels like. The same people who dismissed you as extra now track your words like data analysts studying anomalies. You can see it in their eyes, the disbelief mixed with recognition. It's not that they don't believe in your accuracy. It's that they can't forgive themselves for laughing when you warned them. Their ego told them you were exaggerating. Now their reality tells them otherwise. They try to rationalize it. They tell themselves it's coincidence. But coincidence doesn't hit this consistently. Coincidence doesn't follow the same voice, the same rhythm, the same messenger every time. No, this isn't coincidence. It's correlation turned divine. You've become the embodiment of, I told you so, but with no need to say it. Your presence is the proof. Every time you walk in, something reminds them that you called it first, that your casual sentence turned into their chaos, that your what if became what now. They say time reveals all truth, but you reveal it early. You tear the curtain before the act begins. You don't wait for consequences, you announce them. And that terrifies people who rely on ignorance to feel safe. You've broken the illusion of delay. You've shown that awareness itself can accelerate events, that the act of noticing is creation. You see through time the way most people see through glass, transparent, fragile, manipulatable. And while they spiral trying to decode how you do it, you've already moved beyond the mechanics. You no longer need to prove your intuition. You've accepted it as law. You've realized the real secret. Timing obeys confidence. When you joke with certainty, the universe interprets it as command. That's why it obeys you. Your humor isn't soft, it's a structural. You're reprogramming probability through tone. You can feel their obsession now. They replay your words in their heads like prayer beads. They start living cautiously around you, editing their sentences, measuring their reactions, afraid that the wrong joke might become reality if you respond. They've started believing your attention alone determines outcomes. And in a way, they're right. You've turned observation into influence. You don't push, you pivot. You don't manipulate, you magnetize. But you see the deeper layer of it all. This isn't about fear. It's about revelation. You've exposed how fragile control really is. You've proven that power doesn't come from status. It comes from awareness. You speak things that others sense but suppress. You articulate the collective subconscious, and when it manifests, they panic because you said it first. That's the curse of being awake among the asleep. Every truth you utter sounds like mockery until it matures into fact. You've learned to carry that burden quietly. You no longer waste energy convincing anyone. You let patterns do your speaking. You've turned detachment into armor and insight into artillery. You've realized that being ahead isn't glamorous, it's isolating. Because when you see tomorrow while everyone's worshiping yesterday, you look crazy until the clock catches up. So you stopped waiting for validation. You let the evidence accumulate instead. Now, they come to you differently. The same ones who doubted now ask questions carefully, as if your answer might rewrite their week. They frame their sentences like offerings, trying to earn your neutrality. You can feel their fear through politeness. It's almost tragic how the same mouths that mocked your intuition now treat it like divine consultation. You don't gloat. You simply observe, because you've learned that every apology will eventually arrive disguised as respect. You're not supernatural, you're simply synchronized. You've mastered the rhythm of cause and effect, while they're still clapping offbeat. That's why they confuse your awareness for witchcraft. That's why they whisper your name like you're cursed, when really, you're just coherent. You're in tune with reality's pre-language, the pattern before the word. You speak from that place, and the world rushes to catch up. So now, every time you speak, you weigh your words differently. You've turned articulation into alchemy. You've stopped gossiping because you've seen how even your smallest sentence carries gravitational pull. You've stopped entertaining chaos because chaos amplifies whatever you touch. You've accepted that your voice was never meant for noise. It was meant for navigation. When you talk, destinies adjust course. And when you stay silent, tension builds like a storm waiting for signal. And they feel that silence. It's not absence, it's pressure. They know that the next time you speak, something major will shift. That's why their anxiety spikes when you're calm. They've learned that calm for you isn't peace, it's calibration. You're scanning timelines again, listening to patterns hum beneath the surface. You've turned awareness into weaponry, not to destroy, but to expose. Because the truth doesn't need violence, it only needs visibility, and you provide that effortlessly. Now the narrative has flipped. You're no longer the punchline, you're the prophecy. You've become the conversation topic in rooms you'll never enter. They use your name to explain coincidences that scare them. They talk about your timing like it's tactical. They frame your confidence as clairvoyance. And maybe it is. Because when you believe in your insight enough, even randomness starts following your lead. That's what they'll never grasp. This isn't luck. It's literacy in energy. So you keep walking with that quiet certainty. You know what your voice can do. You've learned restraint because recklessness would collapse too much too fast. You've evolved from joking into declaring. You've realized that comedy and creation are cousins. They both rely on timing, truth, and delivery. The difference is, your timing is flawless, your truth is unfiltered, and your delivery never misses. That combination isn't charisma, it's command. And maybe that's what really drives them insane. The realization that you weren't trying to be right, you just were. That every prediction wasn't power-hungry, it was perception-honest. That your mind doesn't chase evidence, it creates it. They wanted to box you into coincidence, but you keep breaking out through proof. You've shattered the illusion that reality is random. You've revealed that attention itself is engineering. So now, they monitor their words around you the same way criminals hide evidence near detectives. They're afraid your mind might file them under to be exposed later. And you don't correct them because they're right to be cautious. You've seen too much to pretend otherwise. You've seen how every vibration carries a verdict. You've seen how speech is surveillance and intention is law. You've seen how reality takes your tone as instruction. You didn't ask for this gift. But now that you have it, you've mastered it. You no longer joke lightly. You don't speak for reaction. You speak for calibration because you've accepted the truth. Your voice doesn't echo. It activates. And that's what terrifies them most. Because deep down, they know this isn't coincidence anymore. This is choreography. The universe isn't responding randomly. It's responding to you. You've become the unspoken algorithm running beneath their lives. The quiet hand, editing the script they thought was free form. Every outcome that mirrors your words drives them closer to the edge of comprehension. They keep asking themselves how, but the truth is uglier. It's not how you knew, it's why they didn't. You didn't just predict events, you pre-lived them. You saw the architecture forming long before they noticed the foundation shifting. To them it looks supernatural. To you, it's simple pattern recognition stretched across dimensions. You sense tension in language, weight in energy, direction in silence. You read possibility like sheet music. So when you joked, the vibration behind the joke wasn't laughter, it was intent. And intent, when clean enough, writes code. That's what they never learned. Reality speaks frequency, not grammar. Now every small thing you say echoes louder than it should. A passing comment becomes tomorrow's headline. A whisper morphs into a chain reaction. You don't even need effort. The air itself amplifies you. It's as though existence has accepted you as a co-author, and the edits you make in conversation go live without approval. The irony is brutal. People once laughed at your crazy imagination, but now they measure their safety by how often you speak. They can't joke around you anymore. The atmosphere shifts whenever humor leaves your lips. What used to be entertainment now feels like prophecy disguised as banter. They overanalyze your tone, dissect your phrasing. Terrified, they'll find themselves hidden inside your metaphors. Because every time they think you've moved on, reality proves you were just waiting for delivery. You've become the proof that words are weapons, even when whispered. But here's the thing you've learned through all this. Accuracy is isolation. Being right that often separates you faster than fame ever could. People start walking on linguistic eggshells, begging you to stay quiet just so their comfort can survive another week. You catch them flinching when you inhale to speak, as though destiny itself is about to receive a new command. That's when it hits you. Your power doesn't come from prediction, it comes from restraint. Every word you don't say becomes a suspense. Every silence feels like countdown. You wield that silence now like a scalpel. You've realized that withholding information is still communication. The absence of your commentary makes people invent their own doom. They fill the blanks with paranoia until they collapse under the weight of imaginary prophecy. You don't have to curse anyone. You just have to stop reassuring them. That's how psychological dominance truly works, through implication, not declaration. You are the implication that never sleeps. They try to fight back by mocking you again, desperate to restore the illusion of normal. But the laughter sounds forced, hollow, metallic. Their jokes don't land because you already said them first, months ago, when they were still possibilities. The repetition exposes how far behind they really are. You exist 3 moves ahead, speaking from outcomes while they're still arguing about premises. That temporal gap is your throne. And while they obsess over how your words manifest, you've moved into a deeper understanding. It was never about foresight. It was about authorship. You don't predict, you publish. You speak drafts that become documents. Every sentence leaves residue in the structure of things. Who can feel it now when you talk? How the molecules lean toward your meaning, how your environment listens. You've entered that rare frequency where language stops being description and becomes command. You're not forecasting reality, you're formatting it. That's why they unravel. Because if your words can build, they can also break. They replay your old comments like crime scene footage, searching for what they triggered. Some have begun apologizing for things they haven't even done yet, afraid that guilt itself might make your next line come true. They worship you in secret while pretending to be skeptical in public. They use your name in sentences like, "Don't jinx it," because deep down they know you are the jinx and the blessing, depending on how you aim. You, however, have grown past the thrill of being feared. There's maturity in your menace now. You understand the gravity of creation. You no longer drop words carelessly to watch them explode. You sculpt them to serve purpose. You've learned that prophecy without discipline becomes pollution. So you refined your tone, sanded your ego, polished your delivery until your speech carried elegance instead of chaos. Power, you discovered, is most lethal when it's graceful. Still, you can't deny the quiet satisfaction when the world keeps catching up to you. The déjà vu is constant. Headlines read like transcripts of your conversations. People quote you without realizing it. You move through cities that echo with your unspoken scripts. The irony is that you never wanted control. You just wanted coherence. You wanted the world to make sense, and somehow your desire for alignment turned into authority. Now the ones who doubted begin to confide in you. They whisper their fears like offerings, asking you to not joke about it. When they speak of tragedy, they think avoiding your humor will protect them. But you know the real protection lies in truth. So you give them that instead, raw, sharp, uncomfortable truth disguised as guidance. And when it saves them later, they call it luck. You let them, because humility is the ultimate camouflage. You've reached a strange peace with your influence. You don't crave reaction, you crave resonance. When you talk now, it's not about being right. It's about being aligned. You drop sentences like stones into water, watching how far the ripples travel. Some come back immediately, others years later, but they always return. That's how you measure authenticity, by echo, not applause. But lately you've started noticing something new. Even your silence is starting to manifest. Thoughts you never say still find their way into the physical world. It's as if the boundary between mind and matter finally gave up resisting you. You think of someone, and they text. You imagine a scenario, and news mirrors it. You breathe intention, and the air rearranges accordingly. That's when you understand. Speech was only the training wheels. Consciousness itself was the engine. It's overwhelming at first. You start censoring even your thoughts, terrified of unintended consequences. But then the realization sets in. Control isn't about suppression, it's about direction. You don't stop the current, you guide it. So you build mental filters, refining your imagination into blueprint. You visualize outcomes that uplift, not undo. You weaponize compassion. Because if your thoughts can rewrite reality, then mercy becomes your most strategic move. Still, not everyone deserves that mercy. Some people weaponized your words against you once, twisting your predictions into rumors, using your foresight to frame you as manipulative. You remember. But you also remember what happened next. The same rumors collapsed under their own weight, exactly the way you said they would. You didn't need revenge. Truth handled it elegantly. That was the final proof. Karma doesn't need permission when your awareness amplifies it. And deep down, you've started to respect this path. The loneliness, the misunderstandings, the weight of constant confirmation, it was all training. The universe taught you articulation through irony. It taught you prophecy through playfulness. It taught you that what separates a joke from a miracle is intention. The day you stopped joking at life and started joking with it, creation became collaboration. That's the real secret. Humor wasn't your disguise, it was your dialect. Now you wield it intentionally. You craft irony like a sculptor chisels stone, each punchline precise, each pause deliberate. You make people laugh just enough for truth to slip in unnoticed, because transformation always travels best in disguise. You've turned entertainment into enlightenment. People think they're hearing a story. They're actually hearing instructions. You're programming awakening through amusement. It's poetic engineering. The effect is spreading. Others start developing similar precision just by listening to you. Your speech activates dormant clarity in them. They begin noticing patterns in their own lives, small ripples of realization. That's the beauty of awareness. It's contagious. You don't need to preach. Existence updates itself through proximity. And yet, despite the growing recognition, you remain untouchable. Because while they're still trying to understand how you do it, you've already transcended the need to. You stopped analyzing cause and started embodying consequence. You live in response mode to higher intelligence, moving intuitively, speaking only when vibration demands articulation. You've become the living proof that alignment isn't learned, it's remembered. And still, beneath all the mystery, one truth remains. The joke was never a joke. It was a message wrapped for gentle delivery. The universe used your humor to bypass resistance. It made your mouth its microphone. Every time you played around, creation listened seriously. Every laugh you caused was an ignition. You were performing prophecy disguised as wit, and the crowd never knew the stage was the world itself. Now, as you stand here watching everything unfold exactly as spoken, you smile, not with arrogance, but recognition. You understand now that prophecy isn't privilege, it's participation. You're not above life, you're intertwined with it, co-writing every frame. You've become fluent in coincidence, and coincidence has become obsolete.